Our technology training courses include project/portfolio management, business analysis, and specialist software training, such as Oracle Primavera P6 Enterprise Professional Project Management. Our vision is to enhance and empower our course delegates by providing real-life application of course contents. Core values: respect for individual, integrity, continuous improvement, flexibility, excellence. At Waymaker Learning UK, we aim to impact our course instructors and delegates, enabling learning atmosphere, enhancing personal mentorship programs, and fostering an ecosystem to support our course delegates. For more information, go to www.waymakerlearning.com. Waymaker Learning UK, the one-stop shop for learning and development. Learning. Become what you learn. Waymaker Learning UK, the one-stop shop for learning and development, is a firm providing bespoke training services in technology, education, business development, process improvement, and startups. Our technology training courses include project/portfolio management, business analysis, and specialist software training, such as Oracle Primavera P6 Enterprise Professional Project Management. Our vision is to enhance and empower our course delegates by providing real-life application of course contents. Core values: respect for individual, integrity, continuous improvement, flexibility, excellence. At Waymaker Learning UK, we aim to impact our course instructors and delegates by providing and enabling learning atmosphere, enhancing personal mentorship programs, and fostering an ecosystem to support our course delegates. For more information, go to www.waymakerlearning.com. Waymaker Learning UK, the one-stop shop for learning and development. Waymaker Learning. Become what you learn.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this evening's webinar. This is Waymaker Learning, and the title of our webinar this evening is the Introduction to Project Management. We'll be speaking for about half an hour, and I hope you will enjoy the webinar. My name is Devana Hideme, and I am a training consultant with Waymaker Learning UK. I'm also a Prince2 practitioner and also a BCS qualified business analyst. The BCS was formerly called the ICEB. I'm also a fellow of the Higher Education Academy in the UK, and I'm also an author of a series of articles which can be found on both the Waymaker Learning website and also on my LinkedIn page called Early Career for Project Manager. It's a series of articles. I hope you will enjoy the presentation this evening. While we'll be talking, if you do have any questions, please you can put them on the chat box at the end of the presentation. If there are any questions, I'll take the questions and I'll try and answer them as best as I can. So the project management offering at Waymaker Learning, we have a double barrel presentation for all our delegates. We have both the project management bootcamp and the Prince2 Foundation Certification Examination course, all lumped into one. Our target in Waymaker Learning is to make sure that all our delegates get hands-on experience that can get them as fast as possible into the industry and into the job market. Not just to go for interviews, but to get jobs in the industry. So we've come up with this special package and not actually offered anywhere in the world, where you have a training on project management, an intensive boot camp, and also end it with taking the foundation at the Prince2 Foundation Certification Examination. I'll be talking you through the whole offering of project management at Waymaker Learning and highlighting the major importance of not just the cost, but also what you will get when you come to Waymaker and you take a course with us. So we'll start by talking about project. What is a project? A project is a unique, transient, which means temporary endeavor. It's a temporary organization that is put together and with a special undertaking to achieve planned objectives. Uh, Planned objectives could be defined in terms of outputs, outcomes, or benefits. Every business and every organization wants to make profit or wants a benefit. Even non-profit organizations have a way of measuring their outputs. Now they put a project together to help them plan and achieve those objectives. Now, one thing about projects is that every human being on earth is in a project or another. Your education is a project, your parties you plan are projects, your purchasing of a house is a project, your getting a job is a project, your moving careers is a project. What a project is a project is started and has a definite beginning and a definite end. So it's not just something you do, but it's actually temporary. Once you've completed a project, you move on to what we call business as usual. Like I've said, a project is temporary, meaning it has a defined start date and end date. It also involves a lot of change. Most organizations, what they do day in, day out is what we call business as usual. Whenever they want to implement a change, because changes are costly for most businesses, they need to make sure it is done well and is done appropriately. So they set up a project, a temporary project to cause an effective change that can be measured and give them their desired output. A project is also cross-functional. It makes use of different talents. It cuts across an organization and pulls in different talents, different specialties, brings them together under a temporary body to achieve a goal. So another major thing to realize is that every single project is unique. There are no two projects that are alike. A good example we have in the UK was when the Football Association wanted to build a new Wembley. It was a massive project and it took them years. It went over budget. It went over time. However, the same project of building a new stadium was undertaken by the Arsenal Football Club, but they were able to complete their project, build a new stadium on time, to budget, and everything went well. What was the difference? The people who handled the project and the environment of the project made the two similar projects different. So every single project is unique. There's a level of uncertainty with any project. So there's a high level of risk when it comes to a project. That's why projects have to be handled carefully. Project managers and people involved in projects have to be experienced people, have a sound understanding of their tools, have a sound understanding of the knowledge of what they're doing, have a sound understanding of the environment, and are able to pull different people, network with different people, come together and make sure the project is a success. Several things crop up during a project, and the people involved in project management, especially the project manager, has to be able to handle all uncertainties. So he has to have an understanding of risks, how to handle risk, how to mitigate it, how to pick up risks, and how to log risks. So what is project management? We define project management as the application of processes, methods, knowledge, skills, and experience to achieve the project objectives. Every project is set up with a definite objective. So project management is the processes and methods, the knowledge and skills that helps the project achieve such objectives. So if anyone considering a career in project management has to learn the methods, the skills, and have a good knowledge of what he's doing, such that no matter how big, how large, how small, how expensive the project is, with the right knowledge of the methods and skills, you are able to deliver on every project. So who is the project manager? Project manager is a person in charge of the overall planning and execution of a project. He takes responsibility of every stage of the project. He's always involved in the why, the where, the when, the who, the what, and the how. And sometimes it might seem like we have on the screen here that the project manager is always multitasking and doing several things. Well, with knowledge and experience of projects, and especially a framework like Prince2, every project manager can easily and without stress handle the project, no matter what, how big it is, how expensive it is, and how many parties are involved. It's easy for him to handle it and bring it to a successful delivery point. So the project manager isn't really fluttering and running around in different directions. His knowledge, his skills, his methods, his tools enables him deliver on any given project he's given. And that's what we're offering in Waymaker Learning. So the project manager, what's he really involved in doing? The basic thing a project manager does is to plan, delegate, monitor, and control. So he plans, and planning is a very core and vital aspect of project management. The project manager has to know how to plan. He has to have the right tools to plan and can plan a project no matter how long and how big. We just heard about the HS2 in the United Kingdom, a project that should end that should take about 17 years to complete. When it's kicked off, the project manager in charge of that project will plan from the day one to the very last day of the project. A plan that will span almost 2 decades. He has the tools, he has the knowledge, and he has the experience to do so. Also, the project manager must delegate because he cannot do everything himself. He has to know how to delegate, whom to delegate, and what to delegate. There are certain things the project manager cannot delegate, and there are certain things which he needs to delegate. After delegating tasks and responsibilities, he needs to monitor. So project management talks. There are many tools in monitoring a project. Okay, so he doesn't have to be everywhere and know everything, but with the tools at his disposal, he can monitor every aspect of the project and know the health of his project at any given point in time. Also, the project manager has to control several things. He has to control the project such that the project is going to plan. And whenever it deviates, he has the tools to bring it back to plan. So what does the project manager control? He needs to control the time, he needs to control the cost, and he needs to control the scope of the project. And those are the things which makes the difference in projects. Now, once you have a problem with any of those three, what we call the triple constraints, your project will run over. If anything happens such that the time in which you are given to deliver the project is increased, it will have a knock-on effect on the cost and the scope of the project, because time is money, as a lot of people say. So the project manager and the people involved in projects have to have a way of monitoring and making sure things happen at the right time. Also, costs. If costs go up or go down, it will have an effect on the project. Also, if the scope of the project is affected by something, if people now midway in a project decide to bring in more things that were not in scope into that project, it's going to have a knock-on effect of the cost. It's going to be costly, and the time also. It will take a longer time to deliver the project. A very good example is a marriage. When a bride and groom have agreed on a date of a marriage and agreed on how much their wedding will cost, and have put a cost of £20,000 on their marriage, and they will get married in 6 months, and it will involve 40 guests, invited guests, and honeymoon in the UK while they are based in the UK. If along the line the bride gets up and says she wants to have her honeymoon in America, that's a change of scope. It will definitely have a knock-on effect on the cost. So more money has to be infused, and that project will no longer cost 20,000. It will cost a lot more. If she decides that there's a new dress that is twice as expensive as the one she had in mind before, she had planned before, and she sees the dress 2 months to the wedding date, as the same thing is going to have an effect on the cost, and the whole project planning has to be redone. So the project manager controls several measures. He looks at the scope and makes sure the project size and goals and requirements are point on. He looks at the tasks, how the time it takes to complete each task along the way. It needs to make sure that they are always on point and their tasks are completed when due, as and when due. Whenever they say a lag behind and people and there's a shortfall, he has tools and he has methods of causing the critical path which every project must take in order to be successful. He has the tools to make sure he gets back on that critical path and meets his milestones. Resources are also available to the project manager. If something happens and resources become more expensive, for example, materials double in price, there are things he needs to do in order to achieve the successful project, and he has them at his disposal, and I'll put them to play. So the project manager controls a lot of stuff, and he has to have the knowledge and the experience and the methods in which to do so on every given project. So measures to control include costs, time scales, quality of the work. You need to keep an eye on the quality of the work, the scope, and the risk. You need to make sure risks do not come and catch anybody unawares. Every risk associated with a project, as much as possible, is identified and logged and analyzed at the beginning of the project and as the project goes along. Also, he needs to control the benefits. He needs to make sure that the project achieves the benefits for which it was set up. So at our project management, at Waymaker Learning, our project management has two aspects to it. We start with a boot camp. On the boot camp, we want to make sure that we give our delegates practical hands-on training that gives them an understanding of the rules, the principles, and the working knowledge of project management. Also, the training is industry informed, relevant knowledge that propels our delegates to real life experience of projects. As our design, our vision is our delegates come to our bootcamp and are ready to go into the job market with real life experience as soon as possible. So we have having for the project management event that has 2 days boot camp and 2 days studying to complete the Prince2 foundation exam. What is Prince2? Prince2 is an acronym and it means projects in controlled environments. It's a process-based approach for project management, and it provides an easily tailored and scalable method for the management of all types of projects. So scalable meaning you can use the framework and the principles and the processes of Prince2 for a project that costs £10,000 and also for a project that costs £10 billion. It's scalable and it's easily tailored to what you want. You may not in the industry use every aspect of Prince2, but a sound knowledge of Prince2 make sure that the project manager understands what happens on the field while his projects are going on. So our goal of the Prince2 foundation examination is that our delegates are prepared to not just take the Prince2 foundation course certification course, but to pass it. We are geared towards giving our delegates sound industry experience of project management, and also a certification by them taking the Prince2 exam, which is only just administered by us, but set by the examination bodies in-house, and we take the exam, and our delegates take the exam and come out at the end of the time at Waymaker Learning with not just a working knowledge of project management, but also a certification that makes every employer knows and have confidence that they know what they're doing. We'll talk a bit about Prince2, and we'll just go into some of the things that will be handled in the Prince2 certification exam. Prince2 has 7 principles, and the 7 principles will be covered during the certification course. The first principle says that every project must have a continued business case justification. The business case is the why, is the reason why the project has been commissioned and is started. And Prince2 holds a tenet that every business case must be written and must be documented. The business case is a live document that lives throughout the time span of the project. There will be always, and there will be constant referral to the business case. Second principle is that in Prince2, or people applying Prince2 methodology, that they must learn from experience. As the project starts and is going on, even before the project starts, you have to learn from experience. And therefore, there's a strong emphasis on logs. We have logs that are kept alive and updated constantly throughout the project. And after the project, the logs are made and are kept and are stored, such that whenever any other project starts, the first thing you do is to go and learn from previous projects. So learning from experience is a very strong principle in Prince2. Also, in Prince2, we manage our project by stages. So there's a management by stages. So all Prince2 projects are broken into stages, and the project proceeds in stages. And there's a definite pattern of the stages in Prince2 that we will learn. Also, we need to manage by exception. The project manager cannot be everywhere. The business owners cannot be everywhere. The team leaders cannot be everywhere. The people involved in projects manage the projects manage only what they are responsible for and what they can handle. So the project manager is not going running from pillar to post. He only manages and he only turns up when he needs to. So do other stakeholders in the project. Every project has lots of stakeholders. The stakeholders manage the project by exception. There is a focus on products in Prince2. Prince2 planning is a product-based planning. Though they are strong on processes, but the focus is the product, the output at the end of the day. That's another major principle of Prince2. And also, we need a principle of Prince2 is that you need to tailor whatever you're doing to suit the project environment. Not all project, like I said initially, every project is unique. So you tailor your what you're doing to suit your project environment. And lastly, the last principle, so it's the same thing I just repeated. Yeah, tailor to suit your project environment. Okay, we now have 7 teams in Prince2. The first team is the business case. I've already spoken about the business case. And the next thing is quality. Quality runs throughout Prince2. There's always a checkup on the quality of not just the work being done, but everything geared towards the output. Prince2 focuses on bringing out qualitative products by qualitative processes. Also, there is the theme, there's an organizational team. That's the way a Prince2 project is set up. Okay, There are responsibilities and roles for different stakeholders and must be maintained throughout Prince2. Change is also a major theme of Prince2, because every project will undergo change. Every project will undergo change. There will be always things to change. How do you implement change? It's a strong theme in Prince2. There are processes in which you implement change in Prince2, and every Prince2 both practitioner must understand how changes are implemented on a project. Risk, as I said earlier, is a major thing. We've spoken a bit about risk this evening. And another major thing is plan. Prince2, you cannot run a project without planning. There's a strong emphasis on planning in Prince2, and also progress. How the project moves from one stage to another. There's a defined structure in which projects progress from one stage to another. That's a strong thing that runs through Prince2, and every Prince2 practitioner must understand that. We'll talk with a little time and talk about the main players in a project. So, who are the main players in a project? We already know the project manager. Who else calls the shots in a project? Who else are involved in a project? Well, taking the example of the marriage, I said, a marriage between a man and a woman, which I discussed earlier on. We have major stakeholders, and stakeholders start from the male and the female, the groom and the bridegroom. They both are major stakeholders. We also have the parents of the bride, parents of the groom, the family of the bride, the family of the groom, the government, the authorities, because every marriage has to have a certificate. So the government is a stakeholder. You either go to the courts to register a marriage, or you go to the priests or the pastors. Those are other stakeholders. What about the friends of the groom and the friends of the bride? They also are stakeholders, though to a lesser extent. The extended family, so we have major stakeholders. Another stakeholder are probably the people in charge of the refreshments, the clothes, the dressmaker. Those are all stakeholders in a project. So we have many players in a project. So we're talking about stakeholder. During the Prince2 course, we'll talk about the project board, the executive, the senior user, the senior supplier, the project manager, and the team manager. These are all our stakeholders. And you can see from the diagram we have on the board, we have so many stakeholders that sometimes the project manager feels overwhelmed and wants to go and hide away. But he must have the knowledge, the skills, the experience to manage all the stakeholders. We talk a bit about the Prince2 life cycle, the project life cycle. Now, earlier on I mentioned that there are stages in Prince2, and we just have a snapshot of it on the screen. So there's there's a pre-project part of it when you haven't started the project. There's also a starting up a project, and also initiating a project, controlling stages, managing stage boundaries, which occurs between one stage and the other. There's a way a project is directed, and also how you close a project. There are defined processes that take place in each of these stages. There's also managing product delivery at every stage, okay, especially between the controlling stage and the closing stage. How do you manage your product delivery? And a strong theme that goes right through is how the project is directed, which you see on the top bar, and also how we plan. There's a time for planning, it's a time for directing, it's a time for initiating, and it's a time for managing a state boundary. And there's certain things that must be done in each of those stages, and in between one stage and the other. That's what Prince2 teaches, and that's what we teach on the Prince2 course. So why Prince2 Foundation examination? At Waymaker Learning, we provide Prince2 based on the curriculum developed by Axelos. Also, the Axelos offers 3 levels of qualification: the foundation, the practitioner, and the professional. However, the traditional Prince2 follow what we call the waterfall style of project management. Okay, it's a waterfall methodology. But right now, especially with the digitalization of the whole world has moved into a more versatile and more flexible way of delivering projects called agile. And right now, the Axelis and some other group of people have come together to bring an offering called the Prince2 Agile Qualification. Prior to September 2016, you had to have completed your Prince2 Foundation and Prince2 Practitioner before you were allowed to take the Prince2 Agile Qualification. But in September 2016, which is just about 2 months now, Axelos lowered the prerequisite for Prince2 Agile Qualification to the Prince2 Foundation level. That means if you complete the Prince2 Foundation level certification course with us at our bootcamp in Waymaker Learning, you are on a platform to move on either to a Prince2 practitioner or a Prince2 Agile qualification. And that is a very, very it's a very, very added, it's an added bonus to every delegate, meaning you are placed in a prime position, not just to get a job as soon as possible, showing that you know the basics that every person involved in project knows, but you also are placed on a platform where you can choose in what direction to go. And right now, the whole world is moving agile. The whole world is moving agile. So we at the end of the boot camp and with us at Waymaker, you are placed in an ideal position to make a choice and make the most informed choice that will further your career. So let's talk about the training. Training is based on both classroom and some self-study. And normally what happens is that once you register for a Prince2 course, you're given a massive booklet. It's a massive booklet of over 200, 300 pages, and most people struggle to go through it. But we designed it at Waymaker Learning. The classroom venue is at our Waymaker Learning office in Manchester in Princess Parkway, and the training will be held for 4 days over 2 weekends. However, it takes a dedication of time and effort to be successful. And we know that most of the delegates that come to Waymaker Learning always put in the required time and effort. The classroom lectures for the Prince2 certification will include interactive case studies, a lot of exam question scenario, a lot of role playing. We'll give out tips for the examination. We will give, and after the first initial days, we'll give out daily assignments and additional reading materials and exam preparation materials. Midweek, we'll have a midweek online exam preparation review, and by the end of the week, I guarantee that most delegates who have put in the time and the effort will be successful in not only the Prince2 foundation exam, but in their chosen career and the chosen focus of getting a job. So how does it run? So we have a bootcamp. The first day is a Prince2 we start with the Prince2 management bootcamp. On the second day, we have half a day for bootcamp, project management, and a CV clinic, and half a day for Prince2 course, which we go through the 7 teams and 7 principles. Oh, sorry, there's a little error there. So we had a day 1 PM bootcamp and project management, day 2 PM bootcamp, project management, CV clinic, Prince2 course, covering the 7 teams and 7 principles. Then and they are often held on a weekend, on a Saturday and a Sunday. On the Monday, each delegate will be given will be sent a 1-hour task to complete, including question and answers, and that will move him forward. Another 1-hour task to complete complete will be given on a Tuesday, and on a Wednesday we'll have both a 1 hour task question and answer and a 2 hour online intensive tutorial. On Thursday, another 1 hour task of question and answer will be given to our delegates to complete. Which so every day there's new information, new understanding, and an establishment of all the things you've learned, and a settling of all the things you've learned into your understanding. On Friday, another 1 hour task and question and answer. Then on the next Saturday, which is the day 4. So the first weekend, we have day 1 and day 2. Throughout the week, we have 1 hour of tasks and question and answers. We have a midweek where we have an intensive 2 hour tutorial. And each of the following days, a Thursday, Friday, another 1 hour task with a question and answer. And on the fourth day is a full blast Prince2 role playing examination preparation. The fifth day, which is the day 5, will then be exam tips, exam preparation, then write the exam. So what we do is we classify everything that is done on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday as another day. So ideally, you have 5 good days of work. Day 1 on a weekend, Saturday, day 2 on a weekend, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, full days, which will equate to a full days of work. Day 4, a full day of work in Wimica Learning Office. And finally, day 5, where you come in for half a day, go through exam tips, go through preparation exam, then write the exam. All in all, we'll have over 32 hours of interaction. And that is, we believe at Wimica Learning, that is enough to both prepare our delegates for the job market and also to pass the exam. We'll talk a bit about the exam. The exam involves multiple choice questions. It's a closed book exam, meaning you just sat with the computer. It's on for 60 minutes, and the pass mark is 50%. Now, in Wimica Learning, our exam is system-based, meaning computer-based. We provide the systems for taking the exam at our office. So after a morning of examination preparation, all the delegates log on, take the exam, and we get our results not too long after you finish your exam. Our preparation makes sure that all our delegates do not squeeze out their brains to write the exam. After over 32 hours of interaction, we are confident that you are well prepared, not just for the exam, for the job market. So what happens after passing the exam? The most important thing people involved in project require is experience. Our bootcamp not only gives you experience, but also upon completing the bootcamp, you automatically have access to our Waymaker Academy, where it's a work skills training academy where you have the ability to talk to people who are in the industry. We have an alumni of an academy made up of people who have taken our courses before, people who are working coaches, mentors, such that anything you need, you can ask within the forum, and you'll be built up. Also, in the academy, you are able to go on projects that we have at Wimica Learning and get a hands-on experience on several live projects that we have going on. So, with Wimica Learning, we want to solve real-world problems, and we make sure that our learning need not to be a headache for our delegates. We also have a lot of tools available to all our academy, Wimica Learning Academy folks. We have several project management tools, including Microsoft Office Project, Oracle Primavera. Microsoft Project and Oracle Primavera are major planning tools. Those are every project manager cannot do without planning. So we actually even have a separate course on Oracle Primavera with a consultant in-house that delivers that specialized course for Oracle Primavera. We have other tools like Jira, which is used for managing projects, especially digital projects, and Confluence also. We have Confluence, we have Slack, we have Trello, and all our Wimica Learning Academy folks have access to all our tools. And if depending on how much time they want to give it, they can give enough time to get real life experience at Wimica Learning. So cost, what's the cost of our course? So when we put our prices that we realize that our PM Bootcamp is given at $399, Prince2 examination certification $399, Mimica Learning Academy subscription is $299. All the tools and materials are available to all Wimica Academy and all Wimica Learning delegates $399. And Prince2 examination fee at $250. Totally $1,426. But right now we have 60% off that price, and every delegate that registers, especially those who have been on either our free seminars or our webinars, get a 60% off and gets the full package for only £599. So if you're interested, please, the details are on the board. Call Wimica Learning on our numbers 0161 226 6135, or you can email inquiries@wimicalearning.com. Our next training session is scheduled to start on the 26th to 27th of November and end between the 4th and 5th of December. However, if you cannot make these dates, please get in touch with our office, and they'll inform you when the next available session will be. I do enjoin you to try and get in touch with our office, because I think there might be an added bonus and an added discount for those who have actually been on our webinar. I cannot verify any details, but if you give your details and say you actually attended our Prince2 webinar, you might get another added discount. So let's talk about income. What do project managers earn? Now, you can either work as a contractor, or you work as a you can either work as a contractor, or you work as a full-time staff. As someone who is being involved in project management, there are several roles that you can take up. You can take up a project officer. You can take up roles in project support. You can take up roles as junior project manager, project coordinators, or project managers. Now, you see a daily rate take home from between 150, 200 pounds to 600 pounds per day. Now, we do know that experienced project managers, many years on the job, many certifications under their belts, knowledge and experience, will take home 600 pounds per day and more. But as a starter, I think with knowledge and the experience you can gain in Wimica Learning, 200 pounds a day will be right up most people's street. So this is a start from read.com, which says the average salaries of project management managers in the UK, for those who are on permanent employment, is about £55,000, 55,500 thereabouts. And I think this was last week. They had 842 jobs available. So there are jobs out there available for project managers. At this time, I want to thank you for listening to me. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. I'll wait for about 3-4 minutes for any questions. And if you have a question, please type something on the chat and chat box, and I'll get it. If you look at the chat box, you should be able to see some information also. The email is there and also the phone number of Waymaker Learning Office. Please feel free to call anytime and you'll get further information. Okay, I can see a question is coming up, so I'll give time. Give some time to. After you type your question, you can just hit the send button and it will pop up. Okay, I can see a delegate saying thank you for the lecture. I'm sure she really enjoyed it, and I'm sure we've given you some information to go home and really think about it. Like I said, if you've been on this call and you give the officer a ring, as long as you registered with your name, you can actually tell them you were at the presentation and even the price you saw. Try and negotiate a discount, and they may just for being friends with Waymaker Learning, they might put in something. So I can see another thing on the chat group saying thank you for the presentation. You're very welcome, sir. You're welcome. I hope you all enjoyed it. We just try to give an overview of what we will do both in the Prince2 project management bootcamp and our Prince2 certification, Prince2 foundation certification course. At this time, I would like to say a big thank you to everyone that's been on the call. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you all have a nice evening. Thank you, and God bless.